Okay, after our Will Riley update yesterday, Will Riley has released his official final five list, and there were a couple pivots here that people didn't necessarily expect. What we did expect, Illinois and Kentucky are on it. Alabama also on it. That was his third visit last week. Arizona still in the mix, as people know. The Arizona has been after Will Riley for a while. And there was a fifth college for a while. Arkansas and John Calipari were after Will Riley. Arkansas has been dropped from Will Riley's consideration. They are out of the five schools he is considering. The fifth school is not a school, Carter. It's the New Zealand Breakers. This is the first we are hearing of an actual team in the NBL. The New Zealand Breakers are on Will Riley's final five list. You and I have spoken about how it can be ominous when players point to the NBL as a legitimate option. When they start to name real teams, it feels a little more legitimate of an option than even just I might go to that league. What does this final five list mean to you? Dropping Arkansas has the schools we know, and it has the New Zealand Breakers.
I think the funniest part of this is that with this new Final Five list dropping, it's giving Kentucky fans like the opportunity that they've been waiting for to like dunk on Cal. Like when this was announced, all I've seen is like, "Oh, Cal, what happened? I thought that Kentucky was all just Cal's brand, and then he dropped Arkansas, da da da, this, that, and the third." So that's funny to see. You have been a strong advocate of if the NBL is going to be prevalent on there, there's always going to be a chance that that could be the way they go. And just kind of the vibe you get from Will Riley, he strikes you as like a guy that might make that decision. So having the New Zealand Breakers on there, I think gives a little bit of clarity to maybe like the fact that he has like an actual offer from a team, probably a big time money offer, big time opportunity if he wants to make this happen and make this a go, which makes it a little bit more serious of an option, in my opinion, by putting that on the list. With that said, I still feel like this ends up with him reclassing and going to Illinois. That's just how I feel about it still, even given the new list.
If there has ever been a player who has been more of a New Zealand breaker on paper than Will Riley, I'd like to meet him.
No, see, no. He strikes me as an Adelaide 36er.
Okay. Whatever, whichever case, like the way he plays, the interviews I've seen from him, just everything about it points to like I'm a New Zealand breaker. It just
Yeah, New
does.
Zealand Breaker has an Anta shoe deal. Like,
Yeah, it does.
yeah,
And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. He's a very talented player. I've said he's a needle mover for whoever you get. Um, I will give you my read on this list. I think it's a great sign for Illinois. I think there's been a lot of smoke in general that he could be pointed towards Illinois as his destination here. That would include a reclassification to 2024. Illinois seems to be the leader from pitching him on why he should reclassify. There's a better role there for him than anything else. But yeah, it's like Illinois basically took Arkansas's spot here, and then we defined where the destination would be in the NBL. To me, if you're taking any takeaways from the announcement of this list, it's those two things. It's good news for Illinois, maybe good news for the New Zealand Breakers, and I wouldn't necessarily feel good if I were Kentucky, Alabama, or Arizona. However, you're right. Kentucky fans should take the opportunity to dunk on Cal a little bit because this is the first really high profile recruitment that hey, we made it. We made the cut and you didn't, Cal. Can we go through these options real quick? This is the one thing we haven't done with Will Riley really. Now that we know officially these are the final five, can we go through each option and say like what's his role? What does he look like on these teams?
yes.
Okay, so let's start with the unlikely ones and work our way up to likely. Arizona, you drop Will Riley on Arizona. First off, is he reclassifying? And second off, what does it look like?
Okay, so I think he's reclassifying. I think that's happening 100%.
So we're doing that
So
for all of these options.
yeah, let's
Okay.
do all reclassify because
Okay.
I think I think that's going to be how it ends up.
Okay.
He reclassifies. He is put probably into like the role that KJ Lewis had last season, bench role guy,
Not a starter.
not a starter. No,
Okay. So can we cross off Arizona from the list then, if that's
yes,
what's going on? Okay, Alabama.
Alabama does not have any scholarships open for this season, so I don't know what they would do. But he'd be a role guy at best.
So can we cross them off the
Cross him off the
list?
list.
Kentucky. He's a top 5 talent on Kentucky, right?
Yeah, he's a top 5 talent on Kentucky. Mm, but I feel like Mark Pope wouldn't start him. I don't know if he would.
Why not?
Because like wouldn't isn't Kobe Brea the starting three?
Jackson Robinson and Kobe Brea are on the wings, but there's a lot of positional versatility there.
Okay, there's a chance he starts for Kentucky.
Will Riley can start at the 4.
Could start at the 4. It's highly unlikely I think he would start.
I think he might start at Kentucky. I won't rule that one out. I think Kentucky still has a chance here.
Okay. So put them like what, third?
Yeah. A
Third. Okay.
safe bronze medal for Mark Pope. That's where he's comfortable, I feel like.
Just a bronze medal type of guy.
He's always on the podium.
Always a bridesmaid,
On
never a
that
bride.
lowest little stoop. Okay, New Zealand Breakers.
Oh, star player probably.
Best
Star
player on the
player,
Breakers.
best player in the Breakers. An uptick of babies named Will Riley across the country. Um,
He becomes an international sensation in New
and
Zealand.
a New Zealand sensation.
I mean, if that's the case, shouldn't he go to the
I
Breakers?
to be honest, I mean, I don't know what the money's looking like.
What's like? Have you ever been to New Zealand?
I have not. No,
Have you ever been to Old Zealand?
I've never been to Old Zealand. No,
Huh, okay, you strike me as a big Zealand guy. Illinois, what's the role?
I think he immediately starts on the wing for them.
Is he their best player?
No,
Leading scorer?
no,
Second leading scorer?
maybe.
Third leading scorer?
Yes.
Okay. Is he a one and done if he goes to Illinois?
Yes.
Without question.
No matter what, I think he's 1 year of college and he's moving on.
You're Brad Underwood. You can get 1 year of Will Riley or 1 year of Coleman Hawkins. Which one?
1 year Coleman.
What if you might get 2 years of Will Riley?
2 years of Will Riley then.
Okay. All right. You think it's a done deal to Illinois?
Yeah, this also might just end with him in New Zealand no matter what. Like maybe he does one in Illinois and then he goes and plays in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's honestly, there's no rush to get to New Zealand. New Zealand
Yeah,
will always be there.
New Zealand will always be, I'm sure they'll
Champagne won't
take you.
always be there.
That's it. Honestly, Brad should have said that immediately.
We just
That's the
talked
setup.
ourselves into this. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to Illinois. I'm really appreciative of all the really informative Illinois just insiders who are able to give us correct information time and time again, because we just don't know what's going on ever. We have no pulse on this. But my heart, which comes from no pulse whatsoever, it just comes from pure guesswork, says that Will Riley will come to Illinois. So we'll see if my heart's correct. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.